All right, welcome back. I'm sure that if you've gotten this far, like you're feeling pretty good about the state of your business and you are just waiting for the 4-hour work week to finally start happening. And really, this is that pivotal part, the pivotal step where we can transition you from going full time in your business to really starting to automate big parts of your business. And that comes with audit. So if you've followed all the steps, you've drilled down into your business, you have all of the right steps to put yourself in a position where you can audit without being hands-on, then you're in a really, really good spot. So audit really comes in two parts. There's the invisible audit, and then there's the active audit. And the invisible audit is really the 4-hour work week part of auditing that everyone is really excited about. So for example, today I was on a hike and I got a ding on my phone, pulled out my phone, looked at some numbers, sent a quick reply, send, and someone else had followed all of these steps that I put into place and they had reported up to me, and I was able to just analyze the data and tell them good job, essentially. That is an example of an inactive or an invisible audit. No one knows I'm really auditing unless I tell them I'm doing something. If the steps are followed correctly, then everything is reported up to me in the KPIs that I'm looking at, in the format that I'm looking for the report to be sent to me, and I'm able to just review it and say, okay, this was done or it wasn't done. That is the easy part of auditing, but it takes a ton of work to get there. But the good thing is you've gone through all the work to finally be able to do that. So now is this audit section is how do we set up your company so that you can do that. You can just pull open your computer, or when you're sitting in bed or on a walk or whatever, you can quickly look at things that are sent to you and know whether or not your business is running the way that you want your business to be run according to the way that you set it up. So that's one side of audit. The other side is the active audit. So invisible, active. Active audit is the part where you can't from your phone necessarily know whether an SOP is done correctly. For example, in pest control, you can't really know whether a technician's going out and spraying the house correctly based off of the numbers that they're sending you at the end of every day. You can know whether the KPIs are hit. You can know whether the critical drivers are hit by, for example, knowing how much revenue they're hitting per hour and what their amount of time on site is versus amount of time clocked, how many reviews they're hitting. That doesn't necessarily guarantee you that they're doing the job the way that you actually wrote up the job to be. So the active audit comes from actually getting eyeballs on the person that you've assigned a certain component to make sure that the SOP is being done correctly. And this is not the 4-hour work week part of audit, but it is critically important. And what I see a lot in business is people who audit, and then that audit gets less and less and less frequent until it's really just, you just do your thing, I'm going to trust you. Really, you want the audit to always be constant, always be consistent, but eventually you want to automate yourself away from always auditing the business as well. And so it simply becomes creating an audit component, creating an SOP of how to audit, and then assigning that to someone else. That part is assignable. In fact, the invisible part is also assignable if you hire a CEO of your company, or COO of your company, or CFO of your company. Their job is essentially to audit specific parts of your company and build OKRs, which we'll talk about later, to really knock those goals out of the water. So that is audit in a nutshell for you. Audit comes in two parts. There's the invisible part. It doesn't mean inactive. Invisible, where you're pulling out your phone and you're checking, you're reviewing the numbers. And then there's the active part where you're really following up on the SOPs. So I'm going to share a couple of stories about the power of auditing, and then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of auditing for your company.